Now that we know more about how electricity reaches us, let's talk about the current energy issues that are facing our nation. I'm sure the big question for many of you is the same one that I have. Why is my electric bill rising?
Energy prices are rising, there's no question about that, and it's important that consumers understand why they're rising, and it's important that they understand what they can do to help mitigate or curb some of those rising energy costs from their perspective.
One reason for this change is our increased needs of electricity. As our use of electricity continues to grow, Wabash Valley Power has to determine how it will meet current and future needs. In the late 1960s and early 70s, many utilities were forecasting a load growth of 7% every year. To meet this forecasted need, utilities across the country built large baseload, coal, and nuclear plants to meet the expected demand. However, that anticipated demand never materialized, and an excess supply of baseload generation plants were built that actually provided electricity to meet demand throughout the 1980s and even into the early 90s. Today, the aging plants built in the 60s and 70s must be replaced with new modern power plants.
And now we're at a point in time where we need to go out and really resupply that baseload coal and nuclear plant because of that aging infrastructure that's out there today.
Building a new power plant is anything but simple. Wabash Valley Power has to consider a wide range of options when deciding how to best meet its customers' needs for electricity in the future. Each type of generation plant differs in how long it takes to plan and build.
When you look at rising costs, one of the major reasons for that is the rising cost of materials to build a new power plant. If you look back in history, if you build a power plant in the year 2000, it would probably cost around $1 billion for a large coal facility. Today, due to those price escalations, that new price is around $2 billion.
The world's a different place today than it was 30 years ago. Coal and natural gas are not just Midwestern or American commodities. They are global commodities, and the prices of all fuel sources are increasing. Global demand has had a major impact on the price of coal as other countries have begun to generate and use more electricity.
When you look at the world demand for generation services, China, India are really building up and almost putting in a new coal plant, one per week. While in the States, we used to have around 60% of the demand for new generation services, and now we're probably around 30%.
Another impact on price is uncertainty, especially related to government regulation and oversight related to climate concerns.
Today, when you build a coal plant, you're really building both the electric generation facilities as well as a chemical plant to clean up the output from that coal plant.
When mandates are formed, basically it increases your cost because you have to do things to be able to meet a certain level. Wabash Valley's taken the approach of doing it in a cost-effective manner and doing it voluntarily so that we basically don't increase member rates by meeting certain renewable targets.
Given all of the factors impacting the cost of energy, what efforts are being made to keep electricity affordable? And what can we as individuals do to help?
Keeping electricity affordable requires a commitment from everyone, from the generation and transmission organizations to local cooperatives, to the customer at the end of the line.
Rising energy costs is really something that's going to impact not only Wabash Valley but the rest of the industry. What we're trying to do, because we are a cooperative, is to maintain as low as cost as possible and provide reliable electricity.
As the energy industry has evolved, Wabash Valley Power has evolved with it. Today, Wabash Valley has achieved a strategically balanced and diversified portfolio of power sources through investment in power plants, contracts with electricity suppliers, and energy management programs.
When you look at our generation portfolio, we have coal resources, we have nuclear resources that we buy from another utility, we have wind, we have landfill gas generation, and then obviously natural gas generation.
We're working on alternative energy sources, we're working on clean coal, and we're also working on energy efficiency initiatives. It's the fifth fuel.
Local electric cooperatives are working together to build energy efficiency initiatives and doing their part to provide their members with energy efficiency education, including the Energy Advisor Program.
There's a national debate going on about energy, and it's important that everyone, again, becomes educated and understands what's happening. Call your congressman, call your legislature, ask them what type of energy legislation they're working on and how it could potentially impact you locally, how it could impact your bill. It's important to get involved.
We can, as individuals, keep electricity affordable by implementing energy efficiency techniques in our own homes and by remaining involved in and informed about our nation's energy future.